Ever wondered how people survived the toughest economic times in history? These creative dishes helped families get by during the Great Depression. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Great Depression-era recipes. These dishes were not only budget-friendly, but also inventive and delicious. We'll explore the stories behind Hoover Stew, Mack Apple Pie, Cornmeal Mush, and many more. Let's get started. Hoover Stew. First up, we have Hoover Stew, a staple during the Great Depression, known for its affordability and ability to feed an entire family. The recipe called for using inexpensive ingredients and leftovers, maximizing savings and minimizing waste. Commonly, it included macaroni, canned tomatoes, hot dogs, and corn, though variations existed based on what was available. Families found solace in this dish as it provided a hearty meal without straining the budget. Despite the economic challenges, Hoover Stew brought families together around the dinner table, embodying the resilience and resourcefulness of the era. Named after President Herbert Hoover, it symbolized the ingenuity and creativity of Americans during hard times. As the economy recovered, the dish faded from popularity, replaced by more diverse and flavorful options. Today, Hoover Stew remains a nostalgic reminder of a time when creativity in the kitchen was driven by necessity, highlighting the enduring spirit of innovation. Dandelion Salad. Dandelion salad exemplified the resourcefulness of families during the Great Depression, making use of readily available wild plants to create nutritious meals. Foraging for dandelions, people would gather the leaves and prepare them with a simple dressing of olive oil, lemon juice, and salt. This salad was not only frugal, but also packed with vitamins and minerals, providing a healthy addition to the diet when fresh produce was often too expensive. It was a nutritious and virtually cost-free meal. The slightly bitter taste of the dandelion leaves was balanced by the tangy dressing, making it a surprisingly delightful dish. The practice of foraging and making do with what was available highlighted the resilience and ingenuity of the era, showcasing how people could turn humble ingredients into sustaining meals. While dandelion greens are now considered a niche ingredient in modern cuisine, the salad serves as a poignant reminder of how necessity can lead to innovative culinary solutions. Today, dandelion salad is cherished by foraging enthusiasts and those looking to reconnect with the frugal and inventive spirit of the past. Mack Apple Pie. Mack Apple Pie became a beloved dessert during the Great Depression when fresh apples were scarce and expensive. Ingeniously, home cooks created a convincing apple-like filling using Ritz crackers, sugar, cinnamon, and lemon juice. The result was a pie that looked and tasted remarkably like traditional apple pie, providing a sweet treat without the high cost. This dessert was a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of families striving to maintain a sense of normalcy and comfort during tough times. The recipe cleverly mimicked the texture and flavor of apples, deceiving even the most discerning palates. Ritz, recognizing the popularity of this innovation, even printed the recipe on their cracker boxes, further cementing its place in American culinary history. While fresh apples are now readily available and affordable, Mack Apple Pie remains a fascinating example of how people adapted to economic hardships with resourcefulness and a touch of culinary magic. Today, it serves as a nostalgic reminder of a time when ingenuity and creativity were essential in the kitchen. Cornmeal Mush. Another creative dish was cornmeal mush. Cornmeal mush was a go-to breakfast option during the Great Depression, valued for its simplicity, affordability, and nutritional content. Made by cooking cornmeal in water or milk until it reached a thick, porridge-like consistency, this dish could be eaten plain or enhanced with toppings like maple syrup, butter, or sausage gravy. This simple dish, often served with syrup or gravy, provided a hearty breakfast. It provided a warm, filling start to the day when more expensive breakfast staples like bacon and eggs were out of reach for many families. Although cornmeal mush lost popularity as the economy improved and people turned to more varied breakfasts, it remains a nostalgic reminder of a time when simple, hearty meals were essential for survival and comfort. For another example of Depression-era ingenuity in the kitchen, let's take a look at potato pancakes. Potato pancakes. Have you ever wondered how families found comfort in the simplest meals during the Great Depression? Potato pancakes were a cherished dish during this challenging era, providing a cost-effective and filling meal for breakfast or any time of the day. Made from grated potatoes mixed with flour, eggs, and onions, these pancakes were fried to crispy perfection, Often served with applesauce or onions, they were a versatile meal. They could also be served with garlic or fried onions, offering a versatile base that could be adapted to what was available. Potatoes were cheap and widely available, making this dish a go-to for many families. As the economy improved, potato pancakes became less common, replaced by more elaborate breakfast options. However, for those who lived through the era, the dish remains a fond memory of ingenuity and comfort during tough times. Vinegar pie. Remember when you first made vinegar pie? This unique and economical dessert gained popularity during the Great Depression, especially in states like Pennsylvania. With basic ingredients like vinegar, sugar, eggs, and an open crust, this pie provided a sweet treat when other dessert staples were too costly. The vinegar, although a surprising choice, added a tangy flavor that was balanced by the sweetness of the sugar and the richness of the eggs. To enhance the pie, some cooks would top it with a layer of meringue. Vinegar pie was a testament to the creativity and determination of home cooks to provide comforting, celebratory foods despite the economic hardships. Today, it stands as a symbol of culinary ingenuity from a challenging period in history, reminding us of the resourcefulness and resilience of those who made the most out of limited ingredients. Prune pudding. Prune pudding was a notable dish during the Great Depression, known for its simplicity and the surprising reach it had, even extending to the White House. Made from prunes, sugar, and a bit of flour or cornstarch to thicken, this dessert was both economical and nutritious. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt famously served it at White House functions, earning admiration from the American public for her frugality and solidarity with the struggling populace. Prune pudding provided a sweet, comforting end to meals and was cherished for its straightforward preparation and rich flavor. The dessert's simplicity did not detract from its appeal. The natural sweetness of the prunes combined with the sugar created a rich, satisfying flavor that resonated with many. The dish's popularity underscored the era's emphasis on resourcefulness and making the most of available ingredients. Today, prune pudding stands as a symbol of the era's ingenuity and the shared efforts to make the best of difficult circumstances, reminding us of a time when creativity in the kitchen was essential for survival and comfort. Boiled carrot sandwich. Can you imagine the ingenuity it took to turn humble carrots into a comforting meal during the Great Depression? Boiled carrot sandwiches emerged as a creative solution to the scarcity and high prices of fresh produce. Simple and economical, this dish involved boiling carrots until tender and mashing them to create a filling for sandwiches. Often paired with roasted cheese for an open-faced sandwich, it offered a nutritious and affordable meal. The boiled carrot sandwich was a testament to the innovation and adaptability of families facing financial hardships. It showcased how people could make the most out of limited resources, turning basic ingredients into something sustaining and comforting. As the economy recovered, more varied and flavorful options replaced such dishes, but the boiled carrot sandwich remains a poignant reminder of the lengths to which people would go to provide for their families with limited resources. Do you remember the egg drop soup? Egg drop soup. Have you ever felt the warmth of a meal that brought comfort in tough times? Egg drop soup, a simple yet nourishing dish, became popular during the Great Depression for its affordability and ease of preparation. Imagine whisking eggs into boiling broth, creating silky ribbons of protein in a pot of warmth. Often enhanced with leftover vegetables or bits of meat, this soup provided a warm, protein-rich meal that could soothe even the weariest souls. Can you picture adding bread or toast from the previous day to make it more filling, transforming what little you had into a hearty bowl of comfort? This soup exemplified the resourcefulness of families striving to make the most of their limited resources, turning basic ingredients into a satisfying dish that brought people together around the table. While more elaborate versions of egg drop soup are enjoyed today, do you feel the connection to the past, when the Depression-era version remains a testament to culinary creativity in times of need? Bean soup. Bean soup was a staple during the Great Depression, especially in states like Idaho where it originated. Made primarily from dried red kidney beans, this thick and hearty soup was both nutritious and affordable. Families would often add whatever vegetables or meats they had on hand, making each pot of soup unique. Senator Fred Dubois of Idaho even passed a bill requiring the Senate restaurant to serve bean soup daily, cementing its place in American culinary history. This humble dish provided warmth and sustenance, embodying the resilience and resourcefulness of those difficult times. While bean soup may not be as common today, it represents a period when simple, wholesome meals were essential for survival and community cohesion. The legacy of bean soup is a reminder of how people made the most of what they had, turning basic ingredients into something more. And speaking of making the most of what's available, have you heard about cabbage and noodles? Cabbage and noodles. Have you ever tasted the simple yet satisfying dish of cabbage and noodles, known in some areas as haluski? This beloved comfort food became a staple during the Great Depression. Combining inexpensive ingredients like cabbage, onions, and noodles, this dish was simple to prepare and provided a hearty, filling meal. The cabbage was often sautéed with onions and mixed with cooked noodles, seasoned with salt and pepper, and sometimes a bit of butter if available. This dish was a favorite in many households for its ability to stretch limited resources and provide a satisfying dinner. Families would often gather around the kitchen, the aroma of sautéed onions and cabbage filling the air, creating memories of shared meals and togetherness. Though it has faded from daily menus, cabbage and noodles remains a nostalgic reminder of the resilience and ingenuity of those who lived through the Great Depression. It's a testament to how families made the most of what they had, creating comforting meals that nourished both body and spirit. Creamed chipped beef on toast. Creamed chipped beef on toast, often affectionately referred to as SOS, a military acronym, was a comforting and economical meal during the Great Depression. Thin slices of dried beef were cooked in a creamy white sauce and served over toasted bread. This dish provided a flavorful and satisfying meal without breaking the bank. It was particularly popular in military households and among those who needed to stretch their food budgets. The creamy sauce and salty beef offered a taste of indulgence during tough times. Families often recall the warmth and satisfaction this dish brought to their dinner tables, creating fond memories amidst hardship. It was a staple in many households, cherished for its simplicity and taste. While less common now, creamed chipped beef on toast remains a nostalgic reminder of how simple ingredients were transformed into beloved comfort food. Have you ever experienced the comforting taste of creamed chipped beef on toast? Milk toast. Do you remember the warmth and simplicity of milk toast on a cold morning? As simple as its name suggests, milk toast was a popular breakfast during the Great Depression, especially for families with limited resources. The dish consisted of toasted bread soaked in warm milk, often with a pat of butter for added richness. For many, it was a comforting meal that required minimal ingredients and effort, making it ideal for those struggling to afford more elaborate breakfasts. Imagine the comfort of a warm, filling start to the day when resources were scarce. Milk toast provided just that, becoming a symbol of frugality and resilience. The creamy texture and soothing warmth of the milk brought a sense of normalcy and comfort during tough times. While it may seem quaint today, this dish holds a special place in the memories of those who experienced the Great Depression, reminding us of the simple joys and the strength found in the face of adversity. Oatmeal cakes. Do you remember the sweet aroma of oatmeal cakes baking in your grandmother's kitchen? These cakes were a cherished dessert during the Great Depression, often made by grandmothers who wanted to treat their families despite the economic hardships. These cakes were quick and easy to make, using canned oatmeal mixed into a batter and baked until soft and chewy. Toppings like almond or peanut glaze added a touch of sweetness and luxury. Oatmeal cakes provided a comforting and nutritious treat, embodying the resourcefulness and love of families striving to maintain a sense of normalcy and joy. Though other desserts have since taken their place, these cakes remain a heartwarming memory of simpler times. Keep watching because there are even more dishes that we should not forget. Depression cake. Depression cake, aptly named for the era it emerged from, was a creative response to the scarcity of baking staples like eggs, butter, and milk. This cake was made with ingredients such as water, vinegar, baking powder, and cocoa, which were more affordable and accessible. Despite its humble components, the cake was surprisingly delicious and provided a sense of normalcy and celebration during difficult times. Often families would gather around the table, sharing stories and laughter as they enjoyed this special treat. Depression cake symbolizes the ingenuity and determination of home bakers, who found ways to create joy and comfort with limited resources. It brought a sense of togetherness and hope, proving that even in the darkest times, sweetness could still be found. Today, it serves as a reminder of the innovative spirit that helped families through the Great Depression. Keep watching. Squirrel Stew. Squirrel stew, also known as Brunswick stew in the South, became a vital source of protein for many families during the Great Depression. With meat often scarce and expensive, have you ever wondered how people found alternatives? Squirrels provided a readily available option. The stew typically included tomatoes, onions, and other vegetables, creating a hearty and nutritious meal. Can you imagine the creativity and resourcefulness it took to turn such simple ingredients into something so satisfying? Despite its origins in necessity, squirrel stew was enjoyed for its rich flavor and became a beloved dish in many households. How did something born out of hardship become a cherished comfort food? As economic conditions improved, the need for such frugal ingredients diminished, but the stew remains a fascinating example of how people adapted their diets to survive tough times. Have you ever tasted squirrel stew or heard stories from those who did? Corned beef hash. Remember the comforting taste of corned beef hash? This popular dish during the Great Depression offered a way to use up leftovers and create a satisfying meal. Canned corned beef, diced potatoes, and onions were cooked together, often with a bit of gravy, to form a flavorful hash. This dish provided a good balance of protein and carbohydrates, making it a staple in many households. Have you ever wondered how such simple ingredients could create something so hearty and delicious? Diners across the country served corned beef hash, often at an affordable price, making it accessible to those with tight budgets. This humble dish not only filled stomachs, but also brought comfort during tough times. While more elaborate meals have since taken its place, corned beef hash remains a nostalgic reminder of how simple ingredients were transformed into beloved comfort food. Apple Brown Betty. Apple Brown Betty was a cherished dessert during the Great Depression, offering a sweet and comforting treat when other ingredients were scarce. Made with layers of sliced apples, breadcrumbs, cinnamon, and sugar, this dessert was baked until golden and bubbly. It was a popular choice for using up stale bread and making the most of available fruit. Have you ever tasted the warm, spiced aroma of Apple Brown Betty fresh from the oven? The simplicity and warmth of Apple Brown Betty provided a sense of normalcy and joy during tough times. Families gathered around to enjoy this humble yet delightful dessert, finding sweetness in the simplest of ingredients. While more elaborate desserts are now common, this dish remains a nostalgic reminder of how families found joy and comfort in simplicity. Apple Brown Betty stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of creativity and resilience in the kitchen. Potato soup. Potato soup was a versatile and comforting dish during the Great Depression, made from basic ingredients that were often on hand. Families would boil sliced potatoes with salt, pepper, and water, sometimes adding milk or butter if available, to create a hearty soup. The simplicity of the recipe made it accessible to even the most resource-strapped households. Potato soup was often reserved for special occasions or important family meals, providing a sense of warmth and togetherness. This humble dish brought families closer, as they shared stories and moments around the dinner table. Today, it is a reminder of how even the humblest ingredients can create a meal that nourishes both body and spirit. Keep watching because we still have a number of dishes for you that showcase the creativity and resilience of those challenging times. Hominy. Do you remember the comforting taste of hominy during tough times? Made from dried maize kernels, hominy became a staple during the Great Depression for its affordability and versatility. This grain, often found canned, was used in various dishes from soups to roasts. It provided a hearty and nutritious base that could be paired with other ingredients to create filling meals. Brands like Stokely's offered hominy at a low cost, making it accessible to many families. The taste of hominy, described as a cross between dumplings and mashed potatoes, made it a popular choice. Its unique texture and flavor brought comfort to many dinner tables. Today, it serves as a reminder of how basic pantry staples can become essential during times of economic hardship. Peanut butter and mayo sandwich. Have you ever tried the surprisingly popular peanut butter and mayo sandwich? This unusual combination gained popularity during the Great Depression, as both peanut butter and mayonnaise were inexpensive and readily available. The sandwich provided a good mix of protein and fat, which was essential during tough times. Made with simple ingredients like creamy peanut butter, tangy mayonnaise, and slices of soft bread, this sandwich offered a unique flavor profile that many grew to love. The creamy texture and savory sweet taste made it a filling and satisfying meal for families trying to stretch their food budgets. Though it may seem odd today, the peanut butter and mayo sandwich remains a nostalgic reminder of culinary creativity in an era of scarcity. And speaking of unique Depression-era recipes, keep watching because next we'll explore the delightful Wacky Cake, another innovative dish from those challenging times. Wacky Cake, Crazy Cake. Do you remember the delightful surprise of biting into a Wacky Cake? Also known as Crazy Cake, this dessert was a favorite during the Great Depression, made without eggs, milk, or butter, which were expensive and often rationed. Instead, it used vinegar and baking soda for leavening, allowing families to create a fluffy and delicious cake despite the scarcity of traditional baking ingredients. The ingredients were simple: flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, salt, vinegar, vanilla extract, oil, and water. Mixing these together in a single pan made for easy preparation and cleanup. The cake's moist, rich texture and chocolatey flavor brought joy to many tables, providing a sense of normalcy and celebration during hard times. The magic of Wacky Cake lies not just in its taste, but in the memories of loved ones sharing a special treat, even when times were tough. Hobo Stew. Hobo Stew was a communal meal made by those riding the rails during the Great Depression. These itinerant workers, known as hobos, would gather and combine whatever ingredients they had, creating a hearty and nourishing meal. The stew typically included a mix of vegetables, potatoes, and sometimes meat, all cooked over an open fire. The beauty of Hobo Stew lay in its simplicity and the sense of community it fostered among those who had little else. The ingredients varied depending on what each person could contribute, making every pot of stew unique. Despite the harsh realities of life on the road, this meal provided warmth and sustenance, symbolizing the resilience and solidarity of the hobo community. Cooking Hobo Stew was more than just preparing food. It was a social event where stories were shared, songs were sung, and camaraderie was built. This simple dish became a cornerstone of survival, bringing hope and a sense of belonging to those who roamed the rails. Chipped beef on toast, SOS. Known affectionately as shot on a shingle, chipped beef on toast was a staple during the Great Depression and in the military. This dish involved dried beef cooked in a creamy sauce and served over toast, providing a flavorful and inexpensive meal. Families who experienced these tough times often recall the comforting aroma of the creamy sauce simmering on the stove and the crispy toast that soaked up every bit of it. In many households, chipped beef on toast was more than just a meal. It was a moment of solace amidst hardship. Children would eagerly gather at the table, and parents found comfort in serving a dish that was both satisfying and affordable. The military also adopted this dish, making it a common sight in mess halls, where it provided a hearty meal for soldiers. These memories of chipped beef on toast highlight the resilience and creativity of those who made do with what they had. And now, we have already arrived at the last one: rice pudding. Rice pudding. Do you remember the comforting taste of rice pudding from your childhood? Made from rice, milk, sugar, and a bit of cinnamon or nutmeg, this dessert was a comforting and filling treat that made use of simple, inexpensive ingredients. During the Great Depression, families relied on this hearty dessert to bring a sense of sweetness and normalcy to their meals. The creamy texture and gentle spice of rice pudding provided warmth and comfort, making it a beloved dish in many households. Parents would prepare it with care, and children would eagerly await the moment they could dig into a bowl of this delightful treat. Its simplicity and affordability made it accessible to even the most budget-conscious families. Rice pudding stands as a testament to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of those who found joy in the simplest of ingredients. If you enjoyed learning about these Depression-era recipes, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fascinating culinary history and recipes you can try at home.